Welcome to Look Around the Confederation. I'm your host, Evening Moose, and before we get started, please remember, the views and opinions expressed in this broadcast are not necessarily the views and opinions of the SCV, its GEC, nor Division Brigade camps or any other subsidiaries, strictly those expressing them. How is everybody doing in Dixieland tonight? We have just a bit of news tonight because our main course of the evening is like at the last election cycle. Me, I was about to give Connor some credit, and that's unfounded for me. I shouldn't do that. I guess I must not be feeling well. I wanted to really do something unique for Look Around and something that I know my camp really enjoys, and that is candidate interviews. Because when it's your camp officer, well, I mean, if you don't go up to, if you can't find your camp officer to talk to, first off, that's a bit concerning. But second off, yeah, you can go to someone at your camp meeting and talk to them about what they want to do as camp commander or camp adjutant. Of course, you can go to your brigade and talk to your brigade commander. In the Mississippi Division, we have a brigade councilman. Talk to them. Most in our division, our brigade officers are required to travel to every camp. So you're going to see them at some point. There is a root beer getting a free ad placement. Let me get that down before Barks texts me. And division, you can normally talk to everybody a decently bit easier. Army, I mean, Chuck McMichael's in the chat. I can throw Chuck on blast. Chuck, how many divisions are in your army? And I mean, I want everybody to think about how many camps would be in each division. But while we wait on Chuck's answer, past Commander in Chief Chuck McMichael, the Lone Ranger, by the way, it can be hard to travel to all those. And so I really wanted to find a way for everybody to meet, to get to know their candidate for office and ask them questions, at least 9. Chuck, I'm going to mess with you, but then again, I just forgot how many's in the Army of Tennessee, so I guess I can't talk. I'm not going to sit here and count on my fingers like I'm in kindergarten, the divisions I have. Yeah, but I mean, your division has 19 camps alone in Missouri, and it can be hard to get out there for one candidate. Not to mention sometimes smaller camps. I know my camp was in this predicament a couple years ago where you felt so small you didn't want to ask a national officer to drive 7 or 8 hours. You give them maybe $20 to give them a meal. They come, they speak, they get your endorsement, but I always felt bad doing that. So I wanted to do something for all the camps out there to make it easy to get to know these people. And I'm very happy to say that this is our second year doing it. I'm so excited. Tonight, we are going to start with the Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman. And, of course, the man running for that position, and we'll be learning a bit about him more tonight, is Louisiana Division Commander Bobby Herring. And I specifically made sure with my record of mispronunciation to ask him 100%. I'm totally not just lying right now how to pronounce his last name to make sure I pronounced it correctly. He is not looking at me with disgust behind the scenes, so I think I'm good. But he can give me some. It's good content anyway. He can make some jokes about it when he gets on. Hopefully, I didn't do this man any injustice. I've enjoyed our conversations. He actually is one of the few people to know my hometown and to actually have been here. I don't know who sets out for the Wayne County, Mississippi, but he has been here. So I feel a connection to him. So I'm very happy to see that he is running, and I know he will do good things. But enough of that. Let us jump into seeing everybody and talking to the news, and we'll bring on Commander Herring. Now I've mispronounced it. Now I'm getting this. It's Louisiana. I can't get anything right in your division. If it makes you feel any better, it took me a while to get Paul's last name right, and I met him when he was commander in chief, so I felt awful. Uh, oh gosh, Herring. See, that's tricky, Charles. That's y'all set me up for failure. Everybody who's watched this show and who has talked to me knows I do have trouble with pronunciation, and it makes you wonder why I'm hosting shows. And trust me, it makes me wonder. You've delivered logs to Waynesboro before. Well, I mean, hey, that's kind of our main thing is timber. I'm going to actually star this, Charles. I want to thank Charles Lauret for helping me out with that and making sure I don't make myself look any more stupid. Bringing a guest on and insulting them instantly is a Moose special at this point. He's smiling behind the scenes, so I don't think I'm in too much trouble. But if all of a sudden I am brought up on charges after the election, just know it was Commander Herring. It was all him. But before we get started, I want to welcome, of course, the Kennedy twins. I can't tell which Kennedy twin. Todd actually is one of the reasons why I have great news, but nothing was updated. So, like our intro for our sponsors, is because Todd is a new sponsor. So he will be added to the Monday show and, of course, our Tuesday and Thursday shows. Next week, he added it, and he just had the dismay of me being busy today, so I hadn't gotten around to editing. But he will be making his appearance starting next Monday. I want to thank him for becoming a sponsor, because if it wasn't for our sponsors, we couldn't do this show. So real quick, I'm going to go through and welcome everybody. Michael C. Hardy, good to see you. The legendary historian, I might add. Alan Lawrence from the Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308. Good to see you. Of course, Charles Hooray helping me out with my pronunciation skills. The Commander-in-Chief is in the chat. Good to see you. Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. Speaking of which, I hope me and the Commander can work it out. The weather has delayed Commander's comments, but should be having a new episode of that Thursday. Both of our fingers are crossed. I know that the Commander is looking forward to running over time this next coming Thursday. Always good to have you on the show, Commander. Good to see my brigade, the 5th Brigade. That means my councilman is on. Good to see you, Keith. As I said, I already introduced the Lone Ranger, the past Commander-in-Chief, the current Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman, Chuck McMichael. Derek T. Glover, David, from the Longstreet Zollicoffer Camp 87. Now, Mr. Bobby, if you thought I butchered your name bad, just think about the poor Camp 87. It took me a year to get their name right. And it's all thanks to David that I was able to get their camp name right. Jeff from the Delaware Grays Camp 2068. Loy from Camp, the James M. Keller Camp 648. Wes from Missouri. As I already said, hello to Todd, our new sponsor, and as well as the division commander of the California Division Sons of Confederate Veterans. Floyd from Hot Springs, Arkansas, Camp 648. Richard Garcia, good to see you, brother. From Camp 1687, Gainsboro. I live in Waynesboro, and I can't say that. Gainsboro Invincibles. Al from Camp 155. Oh, Kentucky showed up on time. Everybody. Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson in the chat. Good to see everybody. Good to see Skeeter from Camp 314, the WW Hartsteel Camp. Always good to see my brothers in Texas in. Skeeter, I saw your email. I didn't get the chance to respond for it before the show. But finally, everybody, your prizes for Christmas in Dixie 4, I believe, or no, 6, is in the mail. So, Jason, you should be getting that, Skeeter, and our brother from Alabama. Y'all should all be getting that shortly. Let's make sure. Who else have I missed? Miss Sullivan, good to see you. Kim from the Kirby Smith Camp, 1209, Jacksonville, Florida. Camp 133 in the chat from Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Army of Northern Virginia Commander Jamie Graham from Camp 132. Jamie, actually, and I will be talking soon. That's my shout out to Jamie because I messaged him in the middle of probably a busy time of day for him. And I do that to a lot of people. Or I text you at midnight. There's really no in between with me. But if you try to call me, I'll tell you I'm at work. So there's the funny fun fact of my life. Army of Tennessee Commander Carl Jones. Jeff from Camp 145 out of Missouri. I did? Oh, okay. I'm glad I pronounced that right. Thank you, everybody. Everybody's having jokes tonight in the chat. Ryan from Carthage. Good to see you, brother. The whole Louisiana division in the chat. Good to see the Louisiana division page in the chat. Dixie from Texas, showing some love to Mr. Bobby. Camp 1703 from Kentucky in the chat. Ryan says he belongs to the Major Thomas R. Livingston Camp 2327 of Carthage, Missouri. Good to see you, brother. And Donald from Camp 2278, Mississippi in the chat. Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Oh, we have Virginia, which everybody stay tuned. Tonight we do the ATM. In February, we're looking at some mismatches. So what I mean by that, last year we tried to do it by Army and then Lieutenant and then Commander-in-Chief. I've kind of just, everybody is so busy with their schedule. Everybody that is running for national office is usually already heavily involved in this organization. So we're just scheduling it as it comes. So it looks like in February we'll have some Army and Northern Virginia people on. So if you're in the Army of Northern Virginia, share this out. Make sure to tune in. We'll make some noise. But also, if you are in the Army of Trans-Mississippi, please share this out to your camps, brigades, divisions. Everybody, please share this out so everybody in your Army can get to know Mr. Bobby. I know that he would like the chance to represent y'all. He would love to get to know y'all. So please show him some love tonight. Camp 827 out of Virginia. We got some Virginia people in the chat. Good to see you. Travis says he's with Ryan. Well, I'm thankful for y'all both watching. So that helps us out. So thank you a lot. Jamie, I want to put this up for there's always a good friendly rivalry here. I love competition. But Jamie, Army of Northern Virginia Commander, says the AMV understands the other armies need all the help they can get. So we're about to start something in this group chat because just Southern people are very proud of what they belong to, and I wouldn't have it any other way. Yes, Derek, we need to continue prayer for all the Southern people, all our brothers and sisters of the Southland that have been affected by this winter storm. It has been harsh. My gosh, I'm looking forward to end myself. But it's good to see everybody. We are going to jump into, as I said, some quick news real quick. Of course, if you haven't heard already, scvchat.com is running a promo on a new t-shirt. Boom! Get The South was right in 1861 because America was right in 1776 shirt. 15% off until July 5th. Buy it now. Promo code is 250. 250. Please get them. Go ahead and get them because I'd love to see as many people as possible wearing them at the national reunion and showing some SCV chat pride, some Southern pride, and some pride in our founding fathers who, of course, are heroes looked up to. So real quick, as I said, we're going to cover some news real quick with the Missouri Division reunion being March 27th through the 28th. The theme this year is Surrender is Not an Option. It will be held in Carthage, Missouri. Save the date. Register now. Don't delay. Registration form is available at MissouriSCV.org. Next up, fun fact, talking about the Army of Trans-Mississippi. The Army of Trans-Mississippi Field Day on the battlefield will be April 18th, 2026. This year's event will be returning to Mansfield Battle Park in Mansfield, Louisiana. This year's program will focus on the role of troops from Texas, Arkansas, Missouri, as well as troops in the Red River Campaign. So plan to spend the day celebrating our honorable history and heritage. Save the date. There will be speakers, food, fellowship, games, and music. Next bit up is the Tennessee Division reunion, which will be April 17th through the 18th in Morristown Landing, Tennessee. Make sure to check it out now and register as quickly as possible, because right now it's $65 per attendee to join. But between March 1st and the 15th, it's $75 to attend this event. And registration ends March 15th at midnight due to catering and capacity needs. No on-site registration or late registration will be accepted. Must be postmarked by March 15th. Next bit of news will be next Saturday, February 7th. The Robert E. Lee and Stonewall Jackson birthday celebration will be held by the Longstreet Zollicoffer Camp 87 of Knoxville, Tennessee. Doors open at 5 p.m. for social hour. Buffet supper will start at 6. The location is the Jubilee Banquet Facility in Knoxville, Tennessee. Period dress or business attire is expected. $45 per attendee, $25 or $20 for kids 12 and under. And of course, the keynote speaker will be our Commander-in-Chief, Walter D. Donnie Kennedy. And our bit of news tonight takes us to Kentucky. When Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson and his lieutenant commander spoke briefly during the Edward Fletcher Arthur Camp 1783 Lee Jackson event on the 17th. And there is Kentucky Division Commander Kyle Thompson staring into your soul right there. So without further ado, let me make sure I get everything lined up here, because we are about to enter our commercial break for tonight, because we will be bringing on our speaker next. So let me try to pull everything up. I'm trying my best here. Yes, don't forget the Army of Tennessee workshop / reunion will be May 2nd. I'm not saying that, Carl. Yes, everybody, please pray for Miss Linda. We all need to be praying for her. The California Division Reconfederation will be March 27th, 28th, and 29th. Let's see here. And don't forget about the SD Lee Institute, February 28th. And make sure to sign up as quickly as possible. All right, everybody. I believe we have what we need. Our guest speaker is probably getting ready to come on. I know I would be. So let's go ahead and go through our commercial break. Of course, our commercial break is sponsored by scvchat.com. Go check us out over there where you can watch videos live like this one and watch some of our archive videos, as well as after this video airs, we will be posting it on our website. There is a national reunion section. With this year being an election year, this video will be up there. It will be the first video updated. Will be Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman. So go check this out. It's an easy place to find it, so you and your camp can enjoy and watch this closer to election time as well. And of course, if you want to help keep the lights on here at SCV Chat and help us in reclaiming the narrative 1 week at a time, go check us out on Patreon. We have a $2.50 a month tier. Feed a Moose. It is general support. There's a real chat head tier. For $10 a month, you get your name at the end credits of every episode. And of course, you get behind the scenes content, exclusive shows, and a lot of stuff that no one else will ever see. For $30 a month, you get exclusive merchandise that not even me and Connor will get as the owners of SCV Chat. And of course, for $8 a month, you can sponsor our show. As I said, Todd is now a new sponsor, so we'll be show lighting him Monday because we weren't able to get everything set up. But I do want to thank Todd for sponsoring the show. And of course, first, I want to say, have you tweaked your knee? Have you fallen off a fence recently? Well, you need to go check out Dr. Chris Cummins, MD, in Oxford, Mississippi, 401 Heritage Drive, Suite 111. You can go check him out there. And, of course, you can check him out on his website. Or, no, you can leave a 5-star review if you'd like to. This is nice. I didn't notice this when you sent this to me. But you can go check them out there. If you tweak your knee, if you've hurt yourself, if you just feel bad, well, don't worry. Dr. Cummins make you feel good and get you back on the way to the point where you're not going to want to eat that apple, so you can go back to the doctor and he'll treat you with some real Southern hospitality. Our next sponsor is, of course, Past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney and his newest book, Paradox of Freedom, which explores little-known history of free African-American slaveholders in the South, challenging the conventional ideas of race, freedom, and power. Reviewers include our Commander-in-Chief, Donnie Kennedy, who praises it for shedding light on an overlooked chapter of American history. Discover this and Commander McClooney's other books, In Beauregard's Defense, Gunboats, Rivers, Bayous, and Railroads on to Vicksburg, the Mississippi Central Railroad Campaign, and the Yazoo Pass Exposition, a Union thrusted into the Delta, at booksbylarry.com. Once again, that's booksbylarry.com. Please support our sponsors. They are the reason that we are able to do this show. And we will be right back with Commander Bobby Herring and his run for Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman right after the break.
There is a place nestled in the rolling farmland of southern Middle Tennessee. A home constructed in 1837, nearly lost to the ravages of war. Saved by a servant and a Confederate general. A place where families loved and lost. If walls could talk, what stories could be told? If a place, a home, can feel love, loss, pain, surely this is one of those places. Nearby is a more recent structure, and inside are the stories of heroes and heroines, stories of battles won and lost, stories of sacrifices made by the people of its native soil. A place that will tell the true and complete story of the Southland and the war fought for its freedom. From the causes that led to the conflict to the modern-day struggles to protect Southern history. Historic Elm Springs and the Confederate Museum at Elm Springs are the general headquarters for the Sons of Confederate Veterans. A place where the story of the Southland and its historic struggle is preserved and told. Come and discover your history.
That one always gets me, of course. I want to thank our sponsors, SCV Chat on Patreon, and Dr. Cummins, MD of Oxford, Mississippi, and Past Commander-in-Chief Larry McClooney's latest book, Paradox of Freedom, booksbylarry.com. And, of course, Todd, who will be joining that lineup very shortly. Of course, you can see him on the screen, but let me give a quick introduction before I allow him to say hi to everybody, because I haven't taken enough of his time up already. but this man has joined the SCV in 2005 as a member of Lieutenant General Richard Taylor Camp 1308. And I'm just going to summarize it. I'm hoping anyway that he'll go deeper into this in a bit. He was appointed as Louisiana Division Adjutant in 2010, a position he served in until 2018. In 2020, he was elected as Second Lieutenant Commander of the Louisiana Division. 2022, he is elected as First Lieutenant Division Commander of the Louisiana Division. And of course, he currently serves as Lieutenant or the Division Commander of the Louisiana Division. And of course, he served in various other positions, but I want him to go into that because I know he'll do a better job than me. But everybody, please welcome your candidate for Army of Trans-Mississippi Councilman, Louisiana Division Commander Bobby Herring.
So you think it's hard pronouncing Louisiana names. Herring is not a Louisiana name. Herring's an old Anglo-Saxon German name. We're basically two states. We're North Louisiana, more Anglo-Saxon, Scottish, Irish, and South Louisiana, more French-oriented. And they're more Catholic, we're more Protestant. But on that pronunciation of names, again, Herring's an easy one. I have a member, his name's Paul Bergeron. Bergeron, most people can spell and read, but his brother is Bergeron. He's also a member of the Louisiana Division. In fact, he's a brigade commander. So we got a Bergeron and a Bergeron in the same family. Another one, somebody you know very well, Charles Lauret. He's probably corrected you on pronouncing his name several times.
I've always felt so bad for Charles.
But his dad says, his dad pronounces the name Lauret. So his dad is a Lauret, but he's a Lauret. So when I'm doing a roll call or anything like that, especially when I was adjutant, you sort of pick up on these names, but it's even hard for me. But so my name is Herring. And I think you kind of said, I don't want to dwell on all the things that I've done. I've been in the Louisiana Division since 2005 when I joined. I got my first position, I think, in 2007. I was appointed chief of staff for my camp. And I've been pretty well working ever since then, up until now. My tenure as the Louisiana Division Commander will end at our reunion in Lexington. We elect the commander a month or two before, but the official deadline or changeover is at our national reunions. So mostly I served as adjutant. I enjoyed it, but I got tired of it too. So I tell everybody, if you got a good adjutant, you better hang on to them. I didn't realize it was going to end up lasting me 12 years, I think. In fact, finally got somebody to replace me. And unfortunately, they died of COVID during the COVID epidemic. So for 6 months, I didn't have to be adjutant, but it actually made it worse because I had to come in behind him and figure out everything he did and catch up. And I took over the duties again. So I think your first question to me was going to be, why am I running for this office, and
Yes.
what prompted me to do it? And again, I've served all these years, 18 years. When I'm through with division adjutant, I thought, I don't want to just walk away, and I can't be division adjutant again. Don't want to be adjutant again. If I said that incorrectly, I can't be division commander again. I don't want to be an adjutant again. And when I was at the Texas reunion this past year, I always wanted to go there. I think they think I showed up just because I was going to run for office, but I really didn't decide to run for office until I got to their reunion convention. And I kind of announced that I was going to run for office. I made up my mind I was going to do it. I only told some friends. I saw Kurt Barnett was on watching us tonight, and a few other guys from Texas. But I only decided then. So I think I have something left to give, even though I'm 73 years old. This white hair proves it. I'm in good shape, I think, for 73 years old, and I'm in really good health compared to all of my contemporaries that are my age. And I thought I like to travel. I'm already going to go to the Missouri reunion convention that they're having. I've already signed up, registered, and I'm glad I'm going, but it disappointed me. It's the same weekend as the California reunion. And I'm going to this next year, not this coming year, but the next year, because I just wanted to go out there. Chuck McMichaels told me how great it was, and I want to go. And I'm going to several other reunions this year, so I can travel. I'm retired. I'm in good health, and I think I have some service left in me. So that's why I chose to run for this position.
And I just wanted to point out, because the commander-in-chief did, but you have served on the national level in appointed positions. I didn't know this until I was looking over your resume, and of course, Commander Kennedy pointed it out. Me and you have held the same position. I am the current Deputy Chief of Heritage Promotions, and you were the Deputy Chief of Heritage Promotions. So I didn't know. That's that. Correct. That was one of those cool things. I knew that you had served in an appointed position on the national level. And of course, I also want to point out your service on the committee with Lieutenant Commander-in-Chief Tony Griffin to promote and place billboards across the Confederation. That was one of my favorite projects of the year. So if you didn't want me talking about it, I hope you didn't mind me bringing it up, because that was one of my favorite things the national level did. I think it really got us a lot of great publicity. So I'm very thankful for your work on that. But the second question, how do you envision your role contributing to the overall mission and goals of our organization?
Well, first thing I did is went and looked up to see what a councilman does on an Army councilman. Mm-hmm. And if you look in our Constitution, it says his duties may be prescribed by the Commander-in-Chief or the General Executive Council. That's all it says. So it leaves a lot of leeway there of what to do. I think my skill level that makes me, by the way, you mentioned I was the Deputy Chief of Heritage Promotions. Ronnie Kennedy talked me into that, twisting my arm all the way.
He's good at that.
I'm not the guy that's the big motivational speaker. The Kennedy brothers, I sit and listen to them all day long. And we've got a lot of other people in Louisiana that are great speakers, very motivational. That's not me. I'm not the motivational speaker. But I told Ronnie at the time he asked me to take the job, I said, my background is business. I was a manager for a company that I was a branch manager in Shreveport for a company. We had 25 branches from Tennessee to Mississippi, Arkansas, and all over Texas and Louisiana. We did like $130 million a year in sales. And I was one of their branch managers. But that's my skill level. I can manage things. I can make sure things get done. I can follow up. If we set goals, I can help do that and follow up to make sure they're completed. And I said, so Ronnie, that's my expertise. And he said, that's exactly what I'm looking for. I don't need you to be a motivational speaker. So I enjoyed doing that for the 2 years. And as to working with Tony Griffin and putting up the billboards, we put up 6 in Louisiana. I think there were over 25, close to 30 across the South. While we're talking about that, I want to make sure people, because I hope it's coming up again this year. We're already sort of working on it. I saw Lloyd Mock from Hot Springs was on the chat. I'm supposed to get him some information back. What we found out, did we get any new recruits out of it? No, that was never the purpose. The purpose was always to give us exposure so that you could drive from Virginia all through the South, all the way out to California, by the way. They put up one also, and get exposure for us. So people say, hey, I saw that back in the last state I was in as they're driving across country. What we found out more than anything, I think, is that those billboards, we hope we got exposure off of them, but they make our members feel better. Everybody says, oh, it was just good for morale. They saw one, especially the one in California. I think it went on Facebook and it had tens of thousands of likes and stuff. So there's a purpose there. And I think we're going to do it again this year, but I worked with Tony on that. Again, my skill levels, business, I think I can apply that to this position because we have an Army commander, John McCammon. I already have a kind of a relationship with him. I've been working with him, with me being the division commander. And I think all those things come together, and that's how I can contribute to the SCV.
Well, I mean, if you keep doing what you're doing now, I think the ATM is in great hands. Of course, that kind of goes along with our third question here. Do you have any specific initiatives or changes you would like to implement when or if you are elected to the GEC?
I already mentioned that my friend Kurt Barnett's on here. Mm-hmm. He asked me a question when we were in Houston because I made a brief announcement that I was going to run for councilman, a more official one. He said, well, what's your platform? Heck, I didn't have a platform. I mean, I just want to serve. I didn't know. I'm not out to change the world. If I was going to try to change the SCV somewhere, I should run for commander-in-chief or lieutenant commander-in-chief, and they're all in good hands, I think. But the one thing that comes to mind, a specific change or initiative, would be as a division commander, I had an incident this past year where we had a disciplinary issue. We had a member who was openly posting things, Nazi paraphernalia and all kinds of things, and doing it with SCV logos all around him. And we had to address that. But it's a bit convoluted. Now you talk to everybody and they'll say, well, we got a process for that. Yeah and no. I mean, it's like you're too young, Moose, to ever have to talk to Social Security or Medicare. But if you call to talk to them, you can talk to 3 different people and they'll give you 3 different answers. And you still don't know which one of them's right or if any of them are right. So I would like to see that better streamlined so that when you go through the disciplinary thing, you're not, one person's not telling you one thing, another person's not telling you another. And I will say to this day, I know I've had people tell me the guy they went through the process, he was disciplined, but then they never notified us back. So we never knew for sure whether we could exclude the man from a camp meeting or from a division event, but that got sorted out. I just think it could be better streamlined, and it's something that I hope I can work on if I do get the position.
Okay, yes, sir. Misplaced my questions there for a second. How would you address the balance between preserving Confederate heritage and fostering a brotherhood in this organization? Of course, when you're all spread out like we are, and just something I've seen is people all the time talking about let's come together, and balancing that, of course, with our mission of Confederate heritage. Do you have any thoughts on bringing us closer together as an organization?
So you sent me that question ahead of time, about an hour before the meeting, by the way. And
Yeah,
that's not how,
it was two.
that's not how you phrased it. Let me read
So
how you phrased it.
foster inclusive. See, this is
Fostering
why. Yeah.
inclusivity in the organization.
Yes.
And I'm not sure I understood what that meant. Who was being excluded? The way you just said it sounded a little different. And I didn't know who you were talking about being inclusive exactly. But I will say we live by the charge. And we're supposed to vindicate the cause for which they fought, defend their good name, guard their history, emulate their virtues and ideas, and perpetuate their principles. And so that's what that's what we live by. I don't know. I'm not aware of people being excluded in anything. Maybe they feel their opinion. Now, I do know people have some various opinions out there. Some of them I think are a bit obtuse sometimes, but that doesn't mean we exclude anybody. Our core goal is the things that I just said that are in the charge. And I think as long as we're living the charge, we're doing exactly what our ancestors told us to do. And I don't want to exclude anybody from anything, but there are times when somebody's ideas are not going to fit what we're doing as an organization. And maybe my own ideas might not fit what we're doing sometime, but I'm not excluded in any way. And I would hope nobody would feel excluded.
All right. Thank you, Commander. Next question would be, what, in your opinion, is the most pressing challenges facing our organization, and how do you think would be best to address them?
I've been going to national reunions since 2006, the one that was in New Orleans. And I've gotten Army meetings and other meetings, and we have people who stand up and give their platforms or why they're running for something, especially in Army meetings. But it always goes back to membership, retention, and recruiting. Every reunion I've been to, that's a focus, retention and recruiting. And we've got, retention's great. When I joined the SCV, I was 55 years old. So I started late in life. You know what the average age was when I joined? that was back in 2005. It was 55 years old. So I was the average age of an SCV member. I haven't seen anything recently, but a few years after that, when I turned 58, somebody put out some info that was the average age of an SCV member, 58 years old. I'm 73 now. Hope to God it's not 73, because if we don't get new members, young guys like you and Connor and all the others, we're going to disappear. It's inevitable. Can y'all hang on to the ship 20 years from now if there's only 5,000 of us? No. It'll be there, and you would never let it die, but we've got to recruit new members. And do I have an answer for that? Is there a panacea for recruiting? I don't know of it. Our best recruiter, one of our best recruiters, I'm going to say is the camp commander in a camp south of us, the Sabine Rifles camp. His name's Sylvester Martinez. And see, I said his name wrong. It's Martinez. And I'll go to their recruiting booths and their sales. They do recruiting and sales at the same booth, and just watch him, because I'm trying to figure out how does he do this. And I'll just sit back and watch him. And he's not doing any magic things. He's good He's good at it. So you got to find somebody who's good at talking to people and bringing them on board. At our recruiting booths, we don't ever let anybody leave when they come over without giving them information and getting their information. You got to get their information so you can contact them later. And we think that's a good way to approach it. But Sylvester, when I'm watching him, I won't dare to say what percentage, but many of the people he talks to, he's got their application in his hand and the money to join before he ever lets them get away from the booth. I don't know how he does it. It's his charisma, whatever. And Sylvester's about my age. But he interacts with young people, older people. He's really good at it. And we got to figure out how to get that magic. Because again, if we don't bring on new members, the SCV is going to disappear at some point. And I think programs like what you're doing right now is a great recruiting tool. I worry that some recruiting booths just turn into sales booths and they don't actually try to recruit anybody. I don't know. I know the museum in Elm Springs gives us exposure and credibility, and lots of people go there. Do we recruit when people are coming in there? You may know, I don't know, but that's something that I would ask. Are we trying to recruit people as they come into the museum? I don't know that we have the people. I don't know that Elm Springs has the staff to do all those things, but that's an idea that I think we should look at.
Thank you, Commander. We got about, including this one, 3 questions left. So if anybody does have any questions, you can put them below. And if I can see them in time, you never know, Commander Herring might take all the time we have. I hope he does. I'm loving his answers so far. So I can't wait to hear. And this is a question that I've asked every time, simply because I've seen so many people want an answer to this regarding our public perception. How do you plan to navigate potential controversies or criticisms surrounding the Sons of Confederate Veterans?
What question was that? I wrote something down on that.
8.
8, okay. So, as a division commander, I face these type things, and each one of them's unique, and you deal with them as you can. I mean, I try not to antagonize anybody in any way outside of the SCV. But again, it goes back. We got to do our core mission, which is the charge. We had an event when putting up billboards. We put up a billboard in Lake Charles, Louisiana, and within 2 days or so, I had the mayor of Lake Charles, Louisiana, and the people at the Lamar Sign Company, which worked with us very well. I guess that's who y'all used in Mississippi too. And neither one of them told me we had to take it down, but both of them said, what can we do? And it doesn't do us any good to have a sign somewhere where people are around it. It just antagonizes them. So we came up with a compromise. Lamar moved us to actually a better location just outside of Lake Charles, more visible, it really suited the purpose of what we wanted. In fact, the local camp told me, well, let's don't put this right in the middle of Lake Charles, but it had already been decided through the brigade and everything. But they were right, shouldn't have been there, and we moved it to another location. So we solved the problem with the mayor and kept Lamar on board with us, although they were the whole time. They worked with us, gave us a better location. a thing that's come up. I don't know if you've heard about it or our audience has. We just had multiple Lee Jackson banquets. In fact, I'm going to one in Baton Rouge Saturday. Baton Rouge is not just right down the road from Shreveport, by the way. And but I'm going down there. But we've had hear complaints that people are saying MLK Day was just last Monday, and they coincide sometimes with Martin Luther King days, and they're complaining, why would we pick then to have our banquets and our celebrations? Well, the simple reason is that's when they were born, and we were doing it long before them. And I spoke at a banquet recently that we don't want to antagonize people, but we're not going to appease them by any means. So you have to take everything under consideration, but always, as our core thing, is to fulfill the charge.
Thank you, Commander. Next question would be, what strategies would you employ to enhance transparency and communication within the organization? Of course, I don't know if I've seen a poor Army candidate not get the communication question. So I thought I would just throw that in there for you.
Right.
That's just one of those questions, along with the one I just asked. I hear the most people wanting to ask their candidate. So how would you help with communication and transparency in the organization?
And as division commander, certainly I hear that from our division at every meeting we go to. What's the old saying? You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. We got all sorts of communication tools. Your program's one. We have SCV, we have the Sons of Confederate Veteran News, whatever, the Telegraph or whatever they're calling it now. Louisiana Division, we have our own news source. We're putting all the information out there, and every camp basically has a newsletter. So we're putting all the information out there. And I always hear people come up. There's always going to be somebody come up and say, well, nobody told us. Nobody let us know. I can't go force feed it to them. I think every past commander, including our current commander in chief, have put all these things into play that we communicate better, I think, than any time that I've been in the SCV. Like I say, your program contributes to that. So if somebody has an idea, I'll listen to it and I'll present it to the GEC if I'm elected. But I kind of take offense whenever somebody says nobody told us. There's a part of me that just kind of tenses up and try to be polite and say, well, how can we help you? How can we tell you? Because it's out there. We constantly sign people up for our Tiger Courier, which is our email list. Mm-hmm. But people don't check their emails. So again, I can't force feed it to them. You got to want to know what's happening. And anybody in our organization who wants to know what's happening, there's a venue to find that out. So that may not be the answer you're looking for, but that's what I got.
I tell people when I was looking back through this question, so many people ask it. I still wanted to involve it this year in the question cycles, but a lot has changed since the last time I put that question in there, being a brigade commander. And of course, I don't know how it is in your division, but I know in Mississippi, we have a chain of command for information. The division commander tells the brigade commanders tells the camps, and the camps are supposed to tell their members. I still, since being involved in that now as brigade commander, I can tell you I have told people, and I've visited camps and delivered the news myself, and I've still had some of the same people, so I understand that one. But I still wanted to ask that because everybody will be asking that question.
But as if I'm elected, and even if I'm not elected, because I'm already going to all these division reunions, I'm going to get their input.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody's doing it better, then we need to take best practices and move it all through the SCV. But I think we actually do a good job of putting the information out there if the member wants to read it or look for it.
Well, that is another good answer, Commander. And kind of the last question. And of course, I added this one last year, right before we started these, because there are a lot of great things this organization's doing, and I want to shed light on that. But some things maybe that you're proud of seeing coming up. Looking ahead, what do you envision as key milestones or accomplishments for the Sons of Confederate Veterans during your potential tenure on the GEC?
My favorite thing to see get done is Forest Plaza. I think we've all been waiting for news on that. Mm-hmm. There's nothing to communicate right now that I know of, so that's why we haven't gotten communications. Mm-hmm. But every time if I'm on the GEC, I'm going to ask that question, and I'm going to tell everybody in the ATM, this is where we stand. And it's important to me because, again, I'm 73. None of us are guaranteed tomorrow, not even you, Moose. I want to see this thing completed so I can go. When I got the pleasure of going during the forest reinterment, and it's an event I'll never forget. I'll never forget being there that day. I had the honor of being on the first guard service for when the caskets were brought into Elm Springs. We were the guards, and they switched every hour, but it was great. Now, the whole Forest Plaza, I can see that. I hope we have at least, if not a better attendance for that as we did for the forest reinterment. So that's a pet project that I would like to see done. And again, maybe it's because of my age, because I have friends. I just had several friends who passed away who would have loved to see that too. But they got into their 80s. I know it takes time to get things done, to get estimates on what work will cost and all that. I know we've got the money, or we did have the money. And I know the longer we wait, the more expensive that project's going to get. So that's something I envision hopefully getting done during my tenure. Other things I don't have right now, but that's what I hope to get when I go to all these division reunions, that their members are going to tell me what's important to them. And my job is to tell the GEC, here's what they think in Missouri. Here's what they think in Texas. This is important to them. What can we do? So, but the only project right now is Forest Plaza, because I want to see that done.
Well, I definitely understand that. As you said, you were there. I was there. It was an event that I will simply never forget. It was phenomenal. I got the privilege of escorting him. That's something I'll never forget. And of course, being named after him, I hope nothing happens and I can make it to the plaza. But I would like to see that as well. And just to point out, Commander-in-Chief Donnie Kennedy says that they should have an update on the Forest Plaza on Commander's comments this upcoming Thursday.
That's good. And I actually spoke to him a little bit when I was in Monroe at their Lee Jackson banquet, and he kind of said something. I don't know that it's official yet. And by the way, in no way am I pointing a finger at anybody, especially the Commander-in-Chief, because I love him to death. but no way am I pointing a finger at anybody why this hasn't been done yet. But sometimes you need to prod them a little bit so that they know it's of interest to us. So that's all I mean when I say that's going to be a project that I would really like to see completed.
Well, I couldn't agree more, Commander. I'm looking forward to the update Thursday. Now, y'all got me fired up. I can't wait. As I said, this is probably one of the projects I've been most excited about. I know the Commander-in-Chief, Jason, the Forrest family is working so hard on that, and I can't wait to hear what they have for us Thursday. But I want to first off thank Commander Herring for coming on and giving a great interview. I hope if you are in the Army of Trans-Mississippi, you'll give him your love, hear him out, talk to him, get to know your candidate even more. I hope the show has helped you tonight, this program. Again, if you are in the Army of Trans-Mississippi, I ask that you please share this out to all your camps, divisions, brigades, and that way we can get the word out. So first off, I want to say good luck, Commander. I hope to see you up there, and hope to help you in any way you need. Always good talking to you again. It's been a minute. So hopefully I can corner you in the future and just talk to you again and visit, because I've really missed this. But yes, please share this out. See another member, Tony Williams from Lieutenant General Richard Taylor, Camp 1308. Good to see you, sir. And make sure to tune in Monday for another episode of SCV Chat at 7 p.m. Confederate Standard Time. And, of course, Tennessee Tuesdays with past Commander-in-Chief Jason Boshears and Tennessee Division Commander John Blankenship. Look Around Florida is, of course, on Wednesday. Of course, next Thursday is Commander's Comments. So this is one of the few times you can get your Commander-in-Chief. I don't know many other organizations that have their national president come on and give an update. So make sure to tune in for that and figure out what your national level is doing. I know Commander-in-Chief, I messed with him about earlier about going over our time schedule. I've already planned for it, honestly. I know the man. I've worked with him now for almost 2 years. I love him to death. But I know he's going to have a lot to do, to say. So I'm looking forward to it. I've missed this because that's where I get my updates on the national level. So make sure you tune in for that. And, of course, Friday Night Lights and Friends of Douglas Southall Freeman and Hardy on History on Sunday. So make sure to check all that out. Again, one last time, please share that out. And thank you to our Patreon members scrolling below, because without them, we couldn't do this show. I guess last order of business, Commander Herring, is there anything you want to say before we go off the air?
No, I appreciate you doing this. You've been a good host. You made it easier. I'm a bit nervous because I'm not used to being on. This is like being on television, and I'm not used to that, but you made it very easy, and I appreciate it. And I hope those in the Army of Trans-Mississippi will consider voting for me. But I will say, you can't vote for me if you don't send members to Kentucky. Your camp has to be at Kentucky in order to cast a vote. So I appreciate your support, but I hope you'll send someone to Kentucky and vote for the candidate of your camp's choice.
Well, thank you, Commander, for coming on. It's definitely a two-part system. If I couldn't get the interviewees on, well, I guess I wouldn't have any programming for the next couple months. I'd be fresh out of ideas. So I want to thank you again for coming on, Commander. That makes me happy to hear that you were able to come on and it was easy for you to do. That's the goal. The goal of this is to get you to let people know who you are, where you stand on certain things, and talk about it, talk about everybody with everybody here. And so I'm happy that it was easy for you and that you had a good time. I think you did a great job. And again, I wish you luck. And without any further ado, everybody, please make sure to send your short pictures, videos, and write-ups to scvyouthoutreach@gmail.com, and you'll be featured on the upcoming episode of Look Around the Confederation. And without any further ado, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching, and remember, to stay Southern. Good night, everybody.